Hello, this is Maree. Sue and I had a very fun 7 days riding Carol's horses out on walks. We went the same way all the time and we just walked on the road, really paying a lot of detail to the rhythm and how the horses went and the straightness and their minds and what was happening in their bodies. And these rides would last for probably an hour, and we would start out of her driveway and on the tar seal downhill. So I'm riding Tequila, and it was fascinating over the 7 days in the rides how day by day, just paying attention to the smallest detail of supporting the horses through their bodies and what we thought was the best way, how they changed. Day one, when I rode Tequila, she went downhill, and we're going downhill right now. It's not real steep, but it's just enough. And she couldn't walk down the hill. She had to jog, and she had to get anxious about going, and she needed me to be on the reins to steady her from going fast. And then as the days went by, we would, after a while, go half a mile or a few minutes, and then she would get closer to walking, and just kept balancing her, doing half halts, straightening, just offering her the place to make a choice. She could choose to jig or she could choose to walk. So as the days went by, she got better in her body about finding the walk and finding the rhythm, and you can see here now that she has a 4-beat flat-footed walk on nearly a loose rein. The reins are not tight, but I'm there, I'm following the rhythm, I'm offering her some guidance all the time, but not with pressure, only with an approaching rein or an approaching leg, and that to guide her. And she really showed me how much trouble she has using her braking system walking down a hill, and that she would shorten and not be able to take long steps and push back on the first part of the step in the front legs and the hind legs, and break through her body and allow the other legs that were moving in the air to go a long way forward. They had to take a lot of very short steps. And you can see here that she's still a little short, but she's really starting to get it. So as we worked day to day, it reminded me of when I first, as a teenager, went to England and working horses over there, and we would walk them with great attention to detail on the tar-sealed roads at least 2 or 3 times a week. It was good for their minds, it was great for their joints, and it was the concussion on the road just at walk made a tone in the joints that was thought to be beneficial for the horses. And so this reminded me of that, and reminded me of how far away we've gotten from conditioning horses, A, on different surfaces, and B, on hills, and really paying fine attention to just amounts of walking and amounts of detail, straightness, and the conditioning of all parts of their body, and using this as a cross training. So it was very fun to go out and just see the progression day by day by day. By the time we got to the end of the 7 days, we both wished we could just keep going and do another 7 and then probably another 7 after that, to see that after a month of doing this, where these 2 horses could get and where we could get in their minds when we went and dealt with the water and the uphill and the downhill, and just been able to deal with the stuff. And they took a lot of support from each other, which was great. And then after a bit, that would be a pretty good test to see if they would go do it on their own. But I would actually want them quite a bit better together and quite a bit more relaxed before I would think that you could be really successful taking either one on its own and having it put together and find trust and companionship from the rider rather than the other horse. So we're still going downhill at this point, but you can see how Tequila is getting a little bit longer in the frame, the neck is going a little bit more forward. I'm really exaggerating a little bit the up down and the forward back with my arms to encourage her to stretch through her top line and make a longer step, but still be able to keep her balance back. So it was quite fun as we get down here and we get to, in the next few minutes, it flattens out a little bit. And I'm not sure if it's this video or the next one that you get to see her walk on the flat. And once she gets to the flat, it's quite different. You can see it's starting to change a little bit now, where the neck is getting a little bit more relaxed and she's starting to take a slightly longer step. And just add a little bit of pushing phase to the braking phase of the step. And to have both the braking phase and the pushing phase in this step, really the horses start to really move through their body in a different way. Then when we get to come and do the uphill part, where they have very little braking phase and quite a lot of pushing phase, she found that quite hard as well to really get the pushing phase from the hind legs, and that she would use her weight a little bit over the front legs to get herself propelled up the hill. So it's great confidence building in their understanding of how to use their bodies. And then just to keep an absolute beat all the time, very true, 4 beats